everyone, and welcome to Changeling Gaming. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to play Radlands. Radlands is a level 3 pick-up-and-play travel game designed by Daniel Piesznik and published by Roxley for 2 players that takes on average 20 to 40 minutes to play. In Radlands, we take on the role of warlords in a post-apocalyptic future where water is money and everyone is willing to die to get what they want. It's a quick game where no matter what clever engine you build, it could get all stripped away in no time by your rival warlord. I will be demonstrating how to play the game today with the help of the Deluxe Edition's player mats, though the play mats are not necessary to play the core game. Setup. If you have them, roll out the player mats opposite each other. Hand each player 3 white water tokens and 3 black water tokens. Also hand each player a water tower card, raiders card, and player aid. Shuffle the deck of camp cards and deal 6 to each player. Both players choose 3 camps to play with and discard the others. Once both players have selected their camps, they place them face up in front of them. If this is your first time playing, the game recommends the 2 players face off with the garage, railgun, and supply depot against the reactor, cannon, and victory totem. Once camps have been chosen, shuffle the deck of people and event cards. Each player draws a starting hand of cards determined by their chosen camps. On the lower right of those camp cards is a small number in a black box. Add those numbers together and draw that many cards, which in this example would be 3 cards. To determine who goes first, one player flips a water token. If it comes up with the watermark, then they're going first. How to play. The goal of the game is to eliminate your opponent's 3 camps before they can destroy yours. On a player's turn, they begin by moving any events they have forwards by 1 space, drawing a card from the deck, and then regaining their 3 white water tokens. The exception is the first player's first turn, when they'll receive only 1 white water token. Then the player can take however many actions they want that they have the resources to accomplish. These actions take several forms: playing a card by spending water, activating a ready card by spending water, drawing a card by spending 2 water, gaining the water tower card by spending 1 water, and junking a card from their hand to gain the benefit listed in the upper left corner of the card. To play a card, a player must spend the water listed on the left side of the card, taking it from their available supply and placing it on the card in question. If the cost is 0, place a black token with the pink line on the card. If a person was played, it must be placed in one of the 2 spots in the column in front of one of their camps, which includes destroyed camps if they wish. The player can choose to move a person currently in play either forwards or backwards to make room for the new person if they want, but only when the new person is first played. If all 6 of a player's spots are full, then they can destroy one of their people to make room for the new one. Many people also have traits that occur when they are played. These take effect now and will not take effect later unless they say so. Some traits are persistent and will take effect until the person is damaged, at which point the trait is inactive. Note that the term enemies refers to your opponent's people. Traits on camps are always active until the camp is destroyed. If an event was played, it gets added to the event tracker to the side of a player's camps based on the number in the explosive icon, 3 being the slot in line with the camps and counting down as you move forwards. Only 1 event can be included in each spot, so if there is another event already there, the newly played event must go behind the one currently in play. An event with a timer of 0 immediately takes effect. Otherwise, the event's effect will be triggered when it advances to the 0 slot at the beginning of a player's turn, before they draw a card for their turn. To activate a card, it must be considered ready, which is true whenever there are no tokens on that card. The activation cost is listed in water, which must be taken from a player's supply and placed on that card to activate it. If the cost is 0 water, then grab a black water token and place it on the card, pink line up to indicate the activation. A person is ready if the card has no tokens on it, which are normally placed when the card is played or when its ability is activated. But a token should also be placed if the card was restored by another effect, or if the card entered play by some means other than being played for its water cost. People are also not ready if they are damaged. There are some cards that override this rule of readiness as an effect of their own, in which case it is clearly stated on the card. A camp is always considered to be ready, even if damaged, unless its ability has already been used this turn, since there would be activation tokens placed upon the card. Players always have the option to spend 2 water tokens to draw an additional card. Players also always have the option to spend 1 water token to gain their water tower card. This card can be junked for the ability listed in the upper left, which allows the player to gain a water token. Each player can only have 1 water tower card in their hand, and when junked, they set it to the side of their play area. Think of it as storing extra water this turn for more water when you need it. As was just mentioned, a card in a player's hand can be junked for the effect in its upper left corner by discarding the card, gaining a one-time benefit for no expenditure of water that often proves extremely timely and useful for accomplishing more on a given turn than water tokens alone would allow. These symbols are also the key to understanding the rest of the effects of camps and people, so let's examine what each symbol means now. The water drop symbol indicates the player gains an extra water token. The purple card symbol indicates the player draws an extra card. This punk symbol indicates the player gets to take the top card of the deck and place it face down like any other person in their area, without looking at the other side. These punks are people, except they can only take a single damage before being destroyed and must be replaced on the top of the deck. Any effects that cause players to take the people on their board and return them to their hand include punks, who become regular cards in that player's hand. This fiery wheel symbol indicates the player either launches their raiders, placing them in the second event slot, third if the second is occupied, or this moves the raiders event forward 1 space, provided there is no other event in the way. Whenever the raiders event resolves, the other player must choose one of their camps to take a damage. This green symbol indicates the player can restore any one of their damaged cards. Place a black token on it, pink line up if it is a person, to indicate it is not ready, and cannot use any activated abilities. One extra detail to note is that a camp cannot use its ability to restore itself. Finally, we've got 3 offensive symbols. A skull that damages only people, the explosion that damages people or camps, and the nuke that destroys people or camps according to the text on its card. There is no nuke junk effect. The first time a person or a camp takes damage, it is rotated sideways, and if it takes damage while sideways, it is destroyed and removed from the board if it is a person, or flipped over if it is a camp. Punks can take only a single damage before they must be returned to the top of the deck. In order to deal damage to people or camps though, that person or camp must be unprotected. People and camps are protected if there is a person in front of them within their column. Some cards use terms like any, all, or one of, and this supersedes the protection to allow cards further back to be targeted. Once a player is satisfied with their turn, their water is spent and they no longer wish to junk cards from their hand, they pass the turn to their opponent, who begins anew by moving their events forwards, drawing a card, and regaining their 3 white water tokens. The player who has just passed should take a moment to clear their cards of tokens, moving them out of the way. Feel free to share the black tokens if one player needs to note either additional water or people that are not ready. And remember to go for the camps, as the moment one player's camps are all destroyed, their opponent wins. If the draw deck runs out of cards twice, then the game ends in a draw instead. Finally, there are several pages of frequently asked questions at the back of the rulebook to help with a number of situations and questions that may arise. So go out and prove to your friends that you are the rightful ruler of the post-apocalyptic future, and no upstarts should dare challenge your control of the wastes and beyond in Radlands. Be sure to support your local game stores. For us, that is Board Game To Go, who offer over 2,000 games for rental within the Toronto area, and many games for purchase. If you're curious about this game, check out the link in the description. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to pose them in the comments below, or take a look to see if someone else has already answered it down there, and be sure to thank them if they have. If you want to learn more about what our ranking system means, check out this video here. And if you want to learn how to play more games, check out our playlist here. And subscribe to learn when new videos come out. And remember, keep changing, keep gaming, have fun. Bonus tip. Use leftover water to gain the water tower or draw cards. Cards are the life of the game.